The Galaxian fleet appeared in Earth orbit without warning. Their crystalline ships glimmered in the sunlight, casting prismatic reflections across the planet below. Humanity had only achieved interstellar travel 50 years ago and had yet to encounter any species as advanced as the Galaxians. Commander Olivia Marsh stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Force flagship watching the alien vessels with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Her crew worked frantically around her, analyzing the unexpected visitors. Her second in command, Lieutenant Amy Foster, handed her the preliminary scans. These ships are unlike anything we've ever seen. Commander, their hulls are made of some crystalline material that our sensors can't fully penetrate. Amy said, her voice steady, despite the tension. Olivia nodded. Keep all weapon systems on standby, but do not target them directly. We don't want to appear hostile. The communications officer, Diane Peters, called out from her station. Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. Put it on screen. Olivia ordered, straightening her uniform. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the Galaxian High Commander Azura. Her skin shimmered with a faint blue luminescence, and her eyes were large, almond-shaped orbs of deep violet. Her head was adorned with what appeared to be living tendrils that moved gently as if floating in water. She wore what seemed to be a ceremonial armor made of the same crystalline material as her ship. Greetings, people of Earth. Azura spoke, her translator converting her melodic language to English. I am High Commander Azura of the Galaxian Collective. We come seeking refuge. Our homeworld has been destroyed by the Krell Empire. We believed humans to be primitive, but our scouts reported your rapid technological advancement. We hope you might shelter us. Olivia felt every eye on the bridge turn to her. The fate of an entire alien species now rested in human hands. Despite having the authority to make this decision, she knew the risks of allowing an advanced alien fleet into Earth territory. I am Commander Olivia Marsh of the Earth Defense Force. Olivia replied carefully. We were unaware of any scouts observing our planet. Our methods are non-invasive, Azura explained. We value privacy and autonomy of all sentient species. We merely observed from a distance. How many of your people seek refuge? Olivia asked. Our fleet carries the last of our kind. Azura replied. Approximately 20,000 souls. All that remains of a civilization that once numbered in the billions. The gravity of the situation wasn't lost on Olivia. An entire species facing extinction. She couldn't make this decision alone. We need time to discuss your request, Olivia said. Please maintain your position while we confer as you wish, Commander Azura replied, her tendrils drooping slightly in what Olivia assumed was disappointment. The communication ended, and Olivia immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth Central Command. The debate was heated, with representatives from all major Earth nations participating. General Patricia Howard of the North American Alliance pounded her fist on the table. This could be an invasion strategy. She argued, we know nothing about these Galaxians, or this supposed Krell Empire. They could be lying. Director Elena Santos of the Global Scientific Consortium disagreed. Their technology is clearly superior to ours, she pointed out. If they wanted to invade, they wouldn't need to ask permission. The ISARI debate continued for hours. Some argued for humanitarian aid, others for caution and isolation. Many pointed to historical science fiction, where aliens with superior technology rarely had good intentions for humanity. What tipped the scales was Dr. Maya Henderson, the leading xenobiologist who had been quietly studying the Galaxian biology from the transmitted images. During a break in the arguments, she cleared her throat and the room fell silent. Their physiology suggests they evolved in environments similar to Earth but with higher radiation levels, she explained. They appear to have developed symbiotic relationships with photosynthetic organisms, which gives their skin that luminescent quality. But what fascinates me is their brain structure. It suggests heightened empathic abilities. They literally evolved to understand other species. And what does that tell us about their intentions? Dr. Henderson asked General Howard skeptically. Maya smiled faintly. Empathy at that level would make deception extremely difficult, General. It would be like lying to yourself. Their society would naturally value harmony and understanding. It's not definitive proof of their peaceful intentions, but it's compelling biological evidence. After 12 tense hours of debate, Olivia made her decision. Earth would offer sanctuary to the Galaxians, but with safeguards in place. Their fleet would need to remain in a stable orbit around Mars, while a small delegation would be permitted on Earth for diplomatic relations. Any technology transfer would be carefully regulated and monitored. When communication resumed, Azura visibly relaxed her tendrils, swaying in what Olivia now recognized as relief. "We accept your terms," she said. "The Krell destroyed our world because we refused to join their militaristic empire. We value peace above all else." As Olivia ended the transmission, Lieutenant Amy approached her. "Do you think we've made the right decision?" "Commander." Olivia looked out at the stars visible through the viewports. "History will judge us, Amy. But I believe that when faced with the choice between fear and compassion, compassion is rarely the wrong choice." The next day, the first Galaxian shuttle descended to Earth, landing at the newly constructed First Contact facility in Geneva, Switzerland. Olivia stood in the reception area along with representatives from Earth governments and scientific organizations. The air was thick with anticipation. When the shuttle doors opened and Azura stepped out flanked by 2 other Galaxians, a hush fell over the assembled humans. It was the first time an alien species had set foot on Earth soil, a moment that would forever change human history. Azura approached Olivia and in a gesture that surprised everyone extended her hand in a human handshake. "We have studied your customs," she explained. "We come in peace and friendship." Over the following months, a remarkable cultural exchange began. The Galaxians shared their advanced medical technology, which helped cure several human diseases thought incurable. The humans offered the Galaxians a large island territory in the Pacific where they could establish a new colony. Olivia worked closely with Azura, developing protocols for interaction between their species. She learned that Galaxian society was led primarily by females who lived nearly twice as long as males. The females possessed stronger empathic abilities, which was why they held leadership positions. One evening, as they walked along the beach of the new Galaxian settlement, Azura explained more about her people. "Our society values harmony above all else," she said. "Each individual seeks to contribute to the collective good not through force but through finding their natural talents and passions. That sounds almost utopian," Olivia remarked, watching the sunset reflect off the crystalline structures the Galaxians had built. Azura laughed to sound like wind chimes. "Not utopian, realistic. We evolved to sense the emotions of others. To cause harm to another is to feel that harm within yourself. It makes conflict very difficult." "Then how did your people develop weapons technology?" Olivia asked. "The defensive capabilities of your ships are impressive." "We did not develop weapons until we encountered the Krell." Azura said, her tendrils darkening to a deep blue. "Even then we focused on defensive technology. Shields and barriers, we believed we could reason with them." She paused. "That was our mistake." Olivia sensed there was more to the story. "Tell me about the Krell," she asked gently. "What drives them?" Azura looked out over the ocean. "They are not evil in the way your stories might portray. They simply believe that strength is the only virtue worth respecting. They conquer not out of hatred, but out of a belief that those who cannot defend themselves do not deserve freedom." She sighed. "They offered us a choice: join them as subordinates or be destroyed. When we refused, they attacked without hesitation, back at Earth Central Command. The integration of Galaxian knowledge was proceeding rapidly. Dr. Linda Barrett, head of the medical division, was working with Galaxian healers to adapt their regenerative technology to human physiology. The results were promising. "Look at these tissue samples," Linda explained to a group of astonished colleagues. "The cellular regeneration rate is 300% faster than anything we've achieved before. This could revolutionize treatment for everything from cancer to spinal injuries." Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Grace Porter was collaborating with Galaxian technicians to understand their crystal-based technology. Their power generation is based on harmonic resonance within these crystal matrices, she explained to her team. It's like they sing to the crystals, and somehow that produces energy. It's breaking every law of physics we thought we understood. 6 months after the Galaxians' arrival, communication satellites detected an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Olivia was called immediately to the command center. "What are we looking at?" she asked, studying the holographic display. "Lieutenant Susan," Franklin pointed to a distortion in space. "It's a wormhole, Commander, similar to how the Galaxians described the Krell method of faster-than-light travel." "Notify Azura immediately," Olivia ordered, "and put all Earth defense forces on high alert." When Azura arrived at the command center, her tendrils were rigid with fear. "It is them," she confirmed. "The Krell have found us," how Olivia demanded. "We made sure to erase any trail leading to Earth. The Krell have technology that can detect the unique energy signature of our crystal ships," Azura explained. "We had hoped the distance would conceal us, but they are more determined than we anticipated." Within hours, a massive Krell battlecruiser emerged from the wormhole. It was dark and angular in sharp contrast to the elegant crystalline vessels of the Galaxians. Its hull was marked with what appeared to be trophies from conquered worlds. The Krell ship transmitted its message to all Earth communication channels. "Your planet harbors fugitives of the Krell Empire," a harsh voice announced. "Surrender the Galaxians immediately or face the consequences." President Carol Wilson addressed an emergency session of the United Nations. "We face an unprecedented threat to our world," she declared. "The Krell demand. We betray those who have come to us for sanctuary, those who have shared their knowledge and medicine with us, who have asked only for a place to rebuild their civilization." She paused. "The question before us is simple. What kind of people are we? Are we the kind who abandon our friends at the first sign of danger? Or are we the kind who stand by our principles even when threatened?" The vote was nearly unanimous. Humanity refuses to bow to threats. Admiral Catherine Chen declared when the Krell demanded the surrender of the Galaxians. "We stand with our allies." The Krell commander appeared on screen. His species resembled armored reptilians with multiple eyes and a ridge of horns. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm our shields," he stated. "We will reduce your cities to ash if you interfere. You have 24 hours to comply." After the transmission ended, Olivia turned to Azura. "We're going to need every advantage we can get. Tell me everything you know about Krell technology, their weaknesses, their blind spots." What the Krell commander did not know was that humans had been working day and night with Galaxian engineers. Dr. Samantha Wells led a team that had integrated Galaxian crystal technology with human nuclear weaponry. The result was untested but theoretically powerful enough to penetrate Krell shields. "The weapon is ready," Dr. Wells reported. "But we only have enough refined crystal for one shot. We'll need to make it count." As the deadline approached, Earth prepared for the worst. Civilians were moved to underground shelters. Military forces were deployed globally. Space-based defense platforms were activated at the command center. Olivia addressed the assembled officers and Galaxian representatives. "The Krell believe we will surrender," she said. "They underestimate humanity's resolve. When threatened, we don't cower, we fight, and we fight not just for ourselves but for those who cannot fight for themselves." She looked at Azura. "Today we stand together, Galaxians and humans, as one people united against tyranny." The room erupted in applause. Azura stepped forward, her tendrils glowing bright with emotion. "In all our history," she said, "we have never encountered a species willing to risk so much for others. You humans are truly remarkable." As the 24-hour deadline expired, the Krell battlecruiser began moving toward Earth. The massive ship dwarfed everything in Earth's defense fleet, its weapons powered up, creating an ominous glow along its hull. "We stand by our decision," Admiral Chen transmitted. "Our alliance with the Galaxians is non-negotiable." The Krell commander laughed a harsh grating sound. "Your defiance is pointless. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our shields. We will reduce your cities to ash if you interfere. Prepare the prototype weapon," Olivia ordered. "Stand by all defense systems. The Krell battlecruiser fired its first warning shot. A beam of energy lashed out, vaporizing an unmanned satellite. The demonstration of power was meant to intimidate, but it had the opposite effect. Humanity had never responded well to bullies. All ships. Maintain formation, Olivia commanded. Do not engage until my order. The Krell ship advanced closer to Earth, its weapons charging for another more devastating attack. Now Olivia ordered. The experimental weapon activated aboard the flagship Galaxian crystals, focusing the energy of a nuclear reaction into a concentrated beam. The weapon cut through the Krell shields like they were tissue paper and sliced the battlecruiser in half. The explosion lit up Earth orbit like a second sun. Cheers erupted across all Earth defense vessels, but Olivia remained cautious. Status report, she demanded. Direct hit. Confirmed, Lieutenant Amy reported. The Krell vessel has been neutralized, but we're detecting multiple smaller craft launching from the wreckage. Escape pods track them, Olivia ordered, but do not fire unless they show hostile intent. The Krell had never encountered a species willing to fight so fiercely for allies they had just met. They had expected the humans to abandon the Galaxians to save themselves. Their intelligence had failed to account for human loyalty. Most of the escape pods headed back toward the wormhole, fleeing the solar system. One pod, however, requested permission to dock with the human flagship. It's the Krell commander. Amy said he wishes to speak with you. Allow it, Olivia decided, but with maximum security. The Krell commander was brought to the ship's conference room in restraints. His massive form dwarfed the human guards. His scaly skin was charred in places from the battle, and one of his 4 eyes was damaged. You have defeated a Krell Imperial vessel, he stated. Something no species has done in 500 years. It was necessary. Olivia replied, we protect our friends. The Krell commander studied her curiously. This alliance with the Galaxians is genuine, then. Not coercion. Not manipulation. We have no interest in conquering or controlling others. Olivia explained. That is the difference between us. The Krell seemed to consider this. You must understand. He finally said. The Krell Empire spans 300 star systems. We absorb other species because it is the natural order. The strong command the weak, not here. Olivia stated firmly. In human culture, true strength comes from cooperation, not domination. From lifting others up, not crushing them under your heel. She leaned forward. You will return to your people with this message. Earth and its allies are not to be threatened. We seek peace, but we are prepared for war. In the aftermath of the battle. Azura approached Olivia in the observation lounge overlooking Earth. Why did you risk everything for us? She asked. We were strangers to you. Olivia smiled. Because it's what humans do. We protect those who need protection. It's in our nature to stand up to bullies. What followed was unprecedented. The Galaxians formally requested integration with human society rather than maintaining a separate colony. We have much to learn from humans, Azura announced in a worldwide broadcast. Your courage and innovation, balanced with compassion, make you unique among all species we have encountered. The scientific exchange accelerated human ingenuity, combined with Galaxian knowledge led to breakthroughs in space travel medicine and sustainable energy. Galaxian empathic abilities helped revolutionize human psychology and conflict resolution. 1 year later, Olivia, now promoted to admiral, found herself in a diplomatic meeting with representatives from 3 new alien species who had sought out Earth after hearing about the defeat of the Krell battlecruiser. The Vorians, a species of highly intelligent avian humanoids, were the first to speak. We have been monitoring the Krell Empire for centuries, hiding in the shadows, their ambassador Kira explained. Your victory has inspired resistance throughout the galaxy. The second species, the Nor, were crystalline beings similar to living diamonds. Their representative sparkled as she spoke. We bring technological knowledge to share with your alliance. Energy manipulation is our specialty. The third species, called the Dreth, resembled terrestrial octopi with highly dexterous tentacles and remarkable problem-solving abilities. We offer our skills in biological sciences, their representative bubbled through a translation device. We have studied the life forms of over 500 worlds. Earth had gone from an isolated world to a galactic hub in the span of 18 months, alien species seeking either protection from the Krell or alliance with the species that had defeated them arrived regularly. Humanity found itself in the unprecedented position of being the younger, less technologically advanced species that nonetheless took a leadership role. President Wilson established the Interspecies Cooperative, a diplomatic body where all allied species had equal representation. Its first act was to create a defense pact, should the Krell return, in force. Admiral Chen oversaw the creation of an integrated defense fleet, combining technologies and tactical knowledge from all member species. The humans provided the military strategy and leadership, while the other species contributed their technological specialties. Dr. Maya Henderson expanded her xenobiology department to include alien scientists studying each other's biology for medical breakthroughs. The Galaxian empathic abilities, when combined with Dreth biological expertise, led to treatments for previously incurable human neurological conditions. Olivia and Azura continued to work closely together, their friendship deepening into a profound mutual respect. They often found themselves discussing philosophy late into the night. "Do you think the Krell will return?" Azura asked during one such conversation. "Almost certainly," Olivia replied. "But when they won't find a single isolated species, they will find an alliance. Unlike the Krell, who rule through fear, we are bound together by mutual respect and common goals that makes us stronger." In the ship construction facilities orbiting Mars, human and alien engineers worked together on a new class of vessel. The prototype was nearly complete, a hybrid design incorporating the best technologies from each species. Dr. Samantha Wells, now the chief engineer of the project, stood with Olivia observing. "The final assembly, it's beautiful, isn't it?" she said. "The crystal matrix power core from the Galaxians, the Noor gravitic drive system, the Vorian sensor array, the Dreth biocomputers, and the human-designed weapons systems, all working in harmony, just like our alliance." The ship gleamed in the Martian sunlight. Its hull was smooth and elegant, unlike the utilitarian Earth vessels or the angular Krell designs. It represented something new in the galaxy, a synthesis rather than a conquest. "What will?" "We call her Samantha," asked Harmony. Olivia decided, "the first of her kind, just like our alliance." 2 years after the Galaxians' first arrival, the Krell returned as expected. But this time they came not with a single battle cruiser, but with a fleet of 30 warships. The wormhole opened at the edge of the solar system, disgorging vessel after vessel, each bristling with weapons alert. All Alliance members, Olivia ordered from the bridge of the Harmony, deployed the defense fleet. The Interspecies Cooperative had prepared for this moment. The combined fleet took up defensive positions around Earth, Mars, and the major colonies throughout the system. Each ship was equipped with the crystal-focusing technology that had proven so effective against Krell shields. The Krell Supreme Commander appeared on the communications screen, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "I am Korax of the Krell Dominion. You have been declared enemies of the Empire. Surrender now or be destroyed." Admiral Chen took the lead in responding. "We are the Interspecies Cooperative. We do not seek conflict with the Krell, but we will defend our alliance. Your empire is built on fear, ours on mutual respect. We invite you to join us as equals, not as conquerors." Korax laughed. "Equals? The weak are never equal to the strong. It is the law of nature." "No, it's not, Dr. Maya." Henderson spoke up, stepping into view. "It's a primitive misunderstanding of evolution. The most successful species are often those who cooperate. Symbiosis, not predation, drives the greatest evolutionary advances." The Krell commander cut the transmission. The enemy fleet began to advance. "All ships stand ready," Olivia commanded. "Remember your training. We fight as one." The battle that followed was unlike anything seen before in the solar system. The Krell attacked with overwhelming force, but the Alliance fleet used superior tactics and coordination. Each species complemented the other's strengths and covered their weaknesses. Harmony led the defense, her hybrid systems allowing her to outmaneuver the larger Krell vessels. The crystal beam weapons sliced through Krell shields, while Vorian sensor arrays detected vulnerabilities in enemy formations. Dreth biocomputers calculated optimal firing solutions faster than any conventional system in the midst of the battle. A Krell vessel broke through the defensive line heading directly for Earth. Olivia made an instant decision. Harmony will pursue, she announced. Transfer command to Admiral Chen, despite protests from her crew. Olivia kept her ship on course, intercepting the Krell vessel before it could reach Earth. The two ships exchanged fire. Harmony's shields buckling under the assault. Engineering reports critical damage to the main power core. Samantha reported, "Crystals are fracturing. We can't take another hit like that. Target their propulsion system." Olivia ordered. All remaining power to weapons. Harmony fired her beam weapons, catching the Krell ship at a vulnerable point. The enemy vessel spun out of control. Its engines disabled. Tractor beam locked on, Lieutenant Amy confirmed. "We're holding them in place." Suddenly a new wormhole opened nearby, but this was different, smaller and less stable. Another ship emerged, but it wasn't Krell. Its design was unfamiliar, sleek, and almost organic in appearance. Unknown vessel approaching, Diane called. From communications, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. The message that came through surprised everyone. "We are the Talani Resistance. We fight against Krell oppression. We detected your battle and came to assist with the arrival of the Talani." The tide turned decisively. The Resistance fighters knew Krell tactics intimately and exploited their weaknesses. Working together, the Alliance and Resistance forces drove the Krell back as the last Krell ships retreated through the wormhole. A cheer went up across the Alliance fleet. Victory had been achieved not through superior numbers but through cooperation, innovation, and shared purpose. In the aftermath, representatives from all species gathered on Earth to discuss the future. The Talani leader Lyra explained their situation. "Our people have been fighting the Krell for generations," she said. "We thought we were alone in our resistance. Now we see there is hope." The interspecies cooperative voted unanimously to support the Talani resistance. Plans were made to take the fight to Krell territory, liberating oppressed worlds and offering them a place in the growing alliance. Olivia found herself promoted again to High Admiral of the combined fleet. The position was unprecedented, a human, commanding ships from a dozen different species. But her leadership during the battle had earned the respect of all 5, years after the Galaxians first arrived on Earth. Olivia stood with Azura at the christening of the first joint human Galaxian, deep space vessel designed specifically for exploration rather than defense. Thousands of people and aliens gathered to witness the historic moment. "The ship represents the best of both our peoples." Azura said, her tendrils glowing brightly with emotion, Galaxian technology and human spirit. As the ship lifted off, its crystal-enhanced engines glowing with clean energy, Olivia felt a sense of pride. Unlike the Krell who conquered through fear, humanity had earned the respect and alliance of some of the most advanced species in the galaxy, not through superior weapons but through compassion, strength, and unwavering loyalty. The exploration vessel named Curiosity was the first of a new fleet dedicated to peaceful contact with other civilizations. Lieutenant Susan Franklin was given command with a mixed human and alien crew. Their mission was to seek out new species and offer them friendship and alliance. While the defensive war against the Krell continued at the borders of Alliance space, the heart of the coalition focused on building rather than destroying, creating new technologies, establishing colonies on uninhabited worlds, and improving the lives of all member species. Dr. Maya Henderson led the newly established Xenobiology Institute, where scientists from all species studied each other to advance medical knowledge. Her team developed treatments for diseases across species lines, saving countless lives. Her work with Galaxian empathic abilities led to breakthroughs in treating human psychological trauma. Chief Engineer Grace Porter partnered with Noor crystallographers to develop the next generation of power systems. Clean, unlimited energy was becoming a reality across all Alliance worlds. Word spread throughout the galaxy of how humans had defended the Galaxians. Other species seeking refuge from oppression began to make contact. Earth became known as a beacon of hope in a dangerous universe. The Krell continued to attack, but each assault was met with stronger resistance. As more worlds joined the Alliance, the Krell Empire began to shrink. For the first time in centuries, they faced an adversary they could not intimidate or overwhelm. In the Krell High Command, debates raged about how to deal with the human problem. Some advocated for committing their entire military might to crushing the Alliance. Others noted that with each defeat, more of their subjugated worlds rebelled. The humans had introduced a concept dangerous to any empire based on fear: the idea that cooperation could be stronger than domination. Olivia didn't know how the conflict would ultimately end, but she was certain of one thing: the Alliance would continue to grow. Not through conquest, but through mutual respect. The Galaxians had come to Earth seeking refuge. What they found instead was a partner, and together they had changed the galaxy. 10 years after first contact, the Alliance had grown to include 37 species. The Krell Empire continued to fight, but now found itself defending its core worlds as the Alliance pushed deeper into former Krell territory, liberating enslaved populations. The greatest victory came not on the battlefield but in the diplomatic arena. The Krell Empire fractured from within as more progressive factions sued for peace. A delegation led by Commander Tarek arrived at Earth requesting talks. Olivia, now High Admiral of the Alliance fleet, sat across from the Krell representative, studying him closely. Unlike previous Krell she had encountered, Tarek seemed thoughtful rather than aggressive. "My faction believes the way of conquest has failed," Tarek explained. "We have lost nearly half our territory in a decade. Our resources are strained. Our people grow weary of endless war. We wish to negotiate." The peace conference lasted for weeks, with representatives from all Alliance species participating. The Galaxian empaths were crucial in verifying the sincerity of the Krell delegates. The final agreement established borders between Alliance and Krell space, with demilitarized zones between them. Not all Krell accepted the treaty. The hardline faction, led by Supreme Commander Varric, denounced the peace as weakness and vowed to continue fighting. But their forces were diminished, and the Alliance grew stronger each day. Perhaps the greatest legacy of the Human-Galaxian Alliance was the Galactic Concordat, a mutual defense and cooperation agreement between 37 species, all united by their respect for the youngest member of their alliance, humanity. When asked by the Concordat Council why humans had risen so quickly from a planetary civilization to a respected galactic power, Olivia, now Admiral Marsh, smiled and said, "Simply because when we look to the stars, we see not conquest, but connection. When we meet new life, we seek not to dominate, but to understand. And when faced with tyranny, we stand firm not just for ourselves, but for all who wish to be free. That is humanity. That is our gift to the stars." 20 years after the Galaxians' first arrival, Earth had been transformed. The planet was now a center of interstellar commerce, and diplomacy representatives from hundreds of worlds walked its streets. Alien architecture stood alongside human buildings, creating a beautiful harmony of styles. Space elevators connected the surface to orbital stations, where ships from across the galaxy docked to trade and exchange knowledge. The solar system teemed with activity colonies and research stations, orbited every planet humanity had spread throughout their home system and beyond, establishing settlements on dozens of worlds. Olivia, now in her 60s, had stepped down from active military service and taken a role as an ambassador at large. She traveled to newly contacted worlds, sharing the story of the Alliance and inviting them to join during a diplomatic mission to a newly discovered species called the Mivari. Olivia found herself reflecting on how far humanity had come. When the Galaxians had first appeared in Earth orbit, the planet had been divided, fearful, and uncertain. Now humans were known throughout the explored galaxy as peacemakers and alliance builders. The Mivari, a species of gentle herbivores with an advanced understanding of botany, welcomed Olivia to their world. The meeting took place in a living cathedral, made entirely of carefully grown plants. "We have heard stories of the humans," the Mivari leader said. "You stand against the Krell when you could have surrendered others to save yourselves. You build bridges between different kinds of people. You seek knowledge rather than power." Why? Olivia considered the question. "Because we recognize that diversity makes us stronger," she explained. "Each species brings unique perspectives and abilities. When we work together, we can achieve more than any of us could alone." The Galaxians taught us empathy. The Vorians showed us new ways to perceive the universe. The Nor shared their crystal technology. Each contribution makes us all greater. The Mavari joined the alliance, bringing their botanical knowledge which helped terraform formerly uninhabitable worlds, creating new homes for species whose planets had been destroyed or rendered uninhabitable by Krell attacks. 30 years after first contact, the last major battle with the Krell hardliners took place. The engagement was brief and decisive. The alliance forces quickly overwhelming the remaining Krell resistance. When Supreme Commander Varric was captured, he was not executed, but brought to stand trial for war crimes against numerous species. The trial was broadcast across the galaxy. Varric remained, defiant to the end, declaring that strength was the only virtue, and that the alliance would eventually collapse under the weight of its diversity. We shall see, Olivia told him after the verdict. The sentence was not death, but imprisonment and rehabilitation. The Galaxian empaths would work with him and the other Krell prisoners, helping them understand the perspective of those they had harmed. 50 years after the Galaxians had first appeared over Earth, Olivia stood on the observation deck of Harmony, station named after the first hybrid vessel she had commanded. The station orbited a neutral point between what had once been Krell space and Alliance territory. Now it served as a meeting ground for all species. Despite her advanced age, Olivia remained sharp. Her hair had turned silver and lines marked her face, but her eyes were as keen as ever. She watched as ships from dozens of worlds docked at the station. Some were former enemies, now allies. Some were species that had been unknown 50 years. Aguazura joined her at the viewport. Her Galaxian physiology aged differently. Her skin still held its blue luminescence, though her tendrils moved more slowly now. They had remained friends through all the decades, sharing the journey from first contact to galactic community. Did you ever imagine this outcome when your ships first appeared over Earth? Olivia asked. Never. Azura admitted. We hoped merely for sanctuary, a quiet place to rebuild what remained of our civilization. She gestured at the bustling activity visible through the viewport. Instead, we found partners. We found hope. A group of children passed by them, a mix of species including human Galaxian, Vorian, and even young Krell. They were students in the first interspecies education program. Their laughter echoed in the corridor as they pointed excitedly at the ships outside. They will inherit a different galaxy than the one we knew, Olivia observed. One with challenges, certainly, but also with unprecedented cooperation. The greatest gift the Galaxians gave humanity was perspective. Azura said you were isolated, believing yourselves alone in the universe. In some ways that made you fearful, defensive, but it also made you cherish connection when you found it. You value what many older species had forgotten, that differences can be strengths, that compassion is not weakness, that standing together against tyranny requires courage but brings freedom. Olivia smiled. Taking her friend's hand, she looked out at the stars visible. Beyond the docked ships, the galaxy was vast and still largely unexplored, but it was no longer a place of isolation and fear. Now it was a community bound together by shared values and mutual respect. Perhaps that is humanity's greatest strength, Olivia reflected. We never stop hoping for a better tomorrow, and we are willing to fight for it, not just for ourselves, but for all who share that hope. A new ship was departing the station. Its design was unlike any that had come before, incorporating elements from dozens of species technologies, a true galactic vessel. Its mission was to explore beyond the known regions of space, seeking new civilizations to welcome into the Alliance. On its hull was inscribed a simple message in the languages of all member species together. We journey forward beneath the same stars. As Olivia watched the ship accelerate away, she felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey that had begun with fear and uncertainty, when alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit, had led to this moment of unity and purpose. The human spirit of exploration and connection had found kindred souls among the stars, and that was humanity's true gift to the galaxy. Not superior weapons or technology, but the simple, powerful belief that diversity brought strength, that cooperation trumped conquest, and that standing together against tyranny was worth any risk. It was a lesson that had transformed not just Earth, but hundreds of worlds across the stars.